There's a power within you that society has taught you to squander, an energy that, when mastered, transforms ordinary men into giants. When ignored, it reduces them to shadows of themselves. Have you ever wondered why some men radiate a magnetic presence that attracts opportunities, success, and respect, while others seem to drift through life like ghosts, invisible and purposeless? The answer lies hidden in something you do every day, perhaps multiple times a day, without realizing you're literally draining your life force, your creative power, your inner strength. Napoleon Hill uncovered this secret while studying the most powerful and accomplished men of his time. He realized they all shared one common trait: they had learned to transmute their sexual energy into extraordinary achievements. Not coincidentally, Hill dedicated an entire chapter of Think and Grow Rich to this revolutionary concept, calling it the mystery of sexual transmutation, a chapter many read but few truly understand. Today you'll discover what happens to your body and mind when you stop squandering this energy for just 2 days. And then you'll understand the complete transformation that occurs when you extend this journey to 30 days. Prepare for a revelation that could change your life forever. Imagine for a moment that there's a sacred fire burning within your chest. This fire isn't just sexual desire, it's the very force that moves the universe, the creative energy that gave birth to the stars, to the most sublime works of art, to the most revolutionary inventions. The ancient alchemists knew this. They weren't seeking to turn metal into gold out of material greed, but understood that true alchemy happens within man, when he learns to transmute his most primal passions into spiritual power and material accomplishments. You've been conditioned since childhood to view this energy as something dirty, shameful, or at best, a biological need that must be quickly satisfied so you can get back to the important things in life. What cruel irony! Modern society has made you believe that squandering your life force is normal, even healthy, while the men who built empires, created immortal works, and changed the course of history knew a different secret. When you indulge in compulsive urges, when you seek fleeting pleasure through masturbation or casual sex without a higher purpose, you're not just relieving yourself, you're literally transmitting your life force into the void. It's as if you're a sacred vessel leaking its most precious contents, drop by drop, until you become an empty vessel, lacking substance, magnetism, presence. But what happens when you turn off that tap? When you decide, even for just 2 days, to keep this energy within you and begin to consciously redirect it? In the first 2 days of retention, something extraordinary begins to happen in your body. Testosterone, the hormone that defines your masculinity, begins to accumulate in your system. It's not just a quantitative increase, it's a qualitative shift. Your voice deepens, your movements gain more determination, your gaze becomes more penetrating. It's as if an internal switch is flipped, awakening aspects of your masculine nature that were dormant. Scientifically, we know that semen retention triggers a hormonal cascade. Free testosterone increases, which improves your physical disposition, your ability to concentrate, and your healthy aggression, that inner drive that propels you to achieve your goals. But this is only the surface of a much deeper transformation. Psychologically, something even more powerful is happening. When you resist the urge, when you say no to immediate gratification, you're strengthening something that ancient philosophers called willpower, and that modern psychology knows as self-control. Every no you say to the urge is a yes to your higher self. You're literally reprogramming your neural circuits, creating new behavioral patterns based on discipline instead of compulsion. But 2 days are just the beginning of this inner alchemy. It's like lighting a small flame that will soon become a bonfire, and then a transformative inferno. Throughout the first week, you begin to notice subtle but profound changes. Your energy is no longer being constantly drained, so it begins to accumulate like water behind a dam. You wake up with more energy, your workouts become more intense, your mind is clearer, more focused. It's as if a fog you didn't even know existed begins to dissipate. Napoleon Hill observed that the most accomplished men had a special magnetic quality. They'd walk into a room, and people would naturally gravitate toward them. It wasn't just superficial charisma, it was something deeper, an inner strength that radiated through every gesture, every word, every glance. Hill discovered that this quality was directly related to the mastery of sexual energy. When you stop squandering this energy, it doesn't simply disappear, it transforms. It's redirected to your brain, to your muscles, to your presence. You become more magnetic, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you're emanating a concentrated and powerful energy that people intuitively feel. As the days pass, you enter even more fascinating territory. Your sexual energy, once scattered and wasted, is now being channeled through higher channels. Taoists call this cultivating Jing energy, the transformation of raw sexual energy into refined spiritual energy. This isn't vague mysticism, it's an experiential reality you can feel in every cell of your body. Around the 10th day, something extraordinary happens. Your creativity explodes. Ideas that once seemed impossible to achieve begin to flow naturally. Projects you've been putting off suddenly seem not only possible, but inevitable. Your mind is operating on a higher level, connecting dots that previously seemed disconnected, seeing possibilities where you once saw only obstacles. This is no coincidence. Sexual energy is at its core creative energy. It's the same force that creates life, that also creates art, builds businesses, solves complex problems. When you stop wasting it on fleeting pleasures, it becomes available for lasting creations. Here I want to pause our transformation journey to extend a special invitation. If you're starting to understand the transformative power of this practice, if you feel something within you is awakening to a deeper truth, I want you to join our community of men committed to excellence and self-mastery. Click the sign up button now and hit the notification bell, because what you're discovering today is just the beginning of a much larger journey. In the next videos, I'll share specific transmutation techniques, practical exercises to channel this energy, and real-life stories of men who have completely transformed their lives through these principles. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Your transformation starts with a decision, and that decision can be now. Sign up and be part of a movement of men who have chosen mastery over mediocrity. Returning to our 30-day journey, around the 3rd week, you enter a phase I can only call the awakening of the inner warrior. Your confidence is no longer based on arrogance or compensation, it's solid confidence, rooted in the certainty that you can control your most primal urges. If you can master the most powerful force within you, what else in life can truly intimidate you? Your physical presence changes. You walk differently, talk differently, look people in the eye with an intensity that wasn't there before. It's not aggression, it's natural authority. It's the presence of someone who knows their own power and doesn't need to prove it to anyone. Professionally, you begin to notice surprising changes. Your negotiations become more effective. Your presentations have more impact. People start to take you more seriously, seek your opinion, and see you as a leader. This happens because you're emanating a concentrated and powerful energy that people instinctively recognize as genuine strength. But the deepest transformation happens in your relationship with desire itself. You realize that what once controlled you is now controlled by you. The urge is still there, in fact it may even be stronger than before, but now it serves your higher purposes instead of enslaving you. That's the crucial difference between repression and transmutation. Repression denies the energy, tries to stifle the fire, and this inevitably leads to explosion or illness. Transmutation acknowledges the energy, honors its strength, but redirects it into higher channels. It's like transforming untamed steam into electrical energy. The force remains the same, but its purpose becomes infinitely more refined and powerful. At the end of 30 days, you are not the same person who began this journey. You've gone through an initiation, a rite of passage that few men in modern society have the courage to face. You look in the mirror and see not just a physical change, although your posture is straighter, your eyes brighter, your presence more magnetic, but an inner transformation that transcends the physical. You've discovered that within you exists a power that most people never even imagine possessing. It's not power over others, it's power over yourself, which is the only real form of power that exists. When you master yourself, when your actions spring from conscious choice instead of unconscious compulsion, you become literally invincible. This 30-day journey has taught you something that no school, no university, no self-help course could teach, that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. that your sexual energy is not just a biological urge, but the very driving force of creation, capable of lifting you to the most sublime heights of human achievement when properly channeled and directed. The ancient masters knew this. Why do you think monks, warriors, and sages throughout history practiced celibacy or sexual moderation? Not out of empty moralism, but because they had discovered experimentally that this energy, when preserved and transmuted, becomes the source of extraordinary powers, supernatural mental clarity, increased physical strength, irresistible personal magnetism, explosive creativity, sharpened intuition. Napoleon Hill called this the creative genius, a mental faculty that manifests only in men who have learned to transmute their sexual energy. He observed that all great leaders, inventors, artists, and entrepreneurs had this gift in common, not because they were born special, but because they developed the discipline to transform their animal passion into creative power. You now understand why modern society, consciously or unconsciously, promotes the waste of this energy. A man who masters his sexual force is a dangerous man to the status quo. He is not easily controlled, manipulated, or distracted. He possesses an internal source of power that makes him independent of external validation. He creates instead of merely consuming. He leads instead of merely following. But with great power comes great responsibility. As you develop this mastery, you realize that you can no longer live a small, mediocre, purposeless life. The energy that now flows through you demands expression in great endeavors, in meaningful creations, in lasting contributions to the world. You become aware that every choice you make, every thought you think, every action you take, is being fueled by this primal force. You can no longer waste it on trivialities, on distractions, on empty pleasures. It must be invested in something worthy of its power. This is the true masculine initiation our society has lost. Our ancestors had rituals and traditions that guided young men through this transformation. Today, most men live and die without ever discovering the giant that sleeps within them, without ever awakening to their true potential. The 2-day journey versus the 30-day journey isn't just about semen retention, it's about awakening to who you truly are versus who society has conditioned you to be. It's about discovering that you possess within you a force that can move mountains when properly understood and directed. In 2 days, you prove to yourself that you can resist the urge. In 30 days, you discover that you can transform that urge into something transcendent. But this is only the preparation for an even greater journey, the journey of a lifetime dedicated to self-mastery and the expression of your highest potential. The man who completes this transformation is no longer a slave to his desires, but neither is he their enemy. He understands them, respects them, and utilizes them as fuel for his most sublime creations. He understands that sexual energy is sacred not because it must be denied, but because it must be honored through conscious and elevated use. When you look at your life after this experience, you realize that everything has changed. Your goals have become more ambitious because you know you have the energy to achieve them. Your relationships have deepened because you are present in a way you never were before. Your work has gained new meaning because you now see it as a vehicle to express your transmuted creative force. But perhaps the deepest discovery is this: you realize you always had this power. It was always there, waiting to be awakened, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be utilized. The only difference is that now you know how to access it, how to direct it, how to transform it into concrete achievements in the material world. The energy that was once lost in fleeting moments of pleasure now accumulates as a growing reservoir of personal power. Each day that passes without wasting it is like depositing gold into a secret account that only you know about. And unlike money in the bank, this energetic wealth cannot be stolen, cannot be lost to external factors. It is truly yours. Upon concluding this journey of transformation, you understand that you have just undergone a real alchemical process. You have literally transmuted lead into gold, the lead of primal urges into the gold of heightened awareness. You have become a magician in the truest sense of the word, someone who understands and wields the hidden forces of nature, beginning with the forces within yourself. The difference between 2 days and 30 days is the difference between touching the surface of an ocean and diving into its mysterious depths. In 2 days, you discover that the water exists. In 30 days, you discover that you can breathe underwater, that you can explore territories that few humans have ever seen, that you can bring treasures from the depths that will transform not only your life, but potentially the lives of everyone around you. Now you understand why the great masters of history guarded these teachings as precious secrets, not out of selfishness, but because they understood that only those with the courage to confront themselves, to resist the most powerful urges of their nature, would have the strength to utilize this knowledge constructively. You passed the test, you proved to the universe, and more importantly, to yourself, that you possess the inner strength to handle this power without being destroyed by it. You are ready for the next phase of the journey, where this power expresses itself in the world, through creations, achievements, and contributions that will leave a permanent mark on reality. The energy you have learned to transmute is not just yours, it is the same energy that created the pyramids, that composed the most sublime symphonies, that discovered the laws of physics, that built the most enduring empires. Now it flows through you, waiting to manifest itself through your hands, your mind, your directed will. This is the true masculine inheritance you claim, not the right to conquer through brute force, but the wisdom to create through refined power. Not the freedom to indulge every whim, but the mastery to consciously choose where to invest your vital energy. Not the escape from responsibility through pleasure, but the acceptance of your mission to transform the world through the expression of your highest potential. The 2-day journey showed you that you can resist. The 30-day journey revealed who you truly are when that resistance transforms into directed power. Now the journey of a lifetime invites you to discover what you can create when that power is consistently applied to the building of something greater than yourself. The sacred fire that burns within your chest is no longer an uncontrolled blaze that threatens to consume you. It is now an eternal, stable, and powerful flame that illuminates your path and warms all who come near you. You have become a light-bearer, a guardian of the Promethean fire that can elevate humanity, or, misused, destroy it. With this power comes the responsibility to use it wisely, to direct it toward purposes that honor not only your individual potential, but the potential of the human species as a whole. You now carry within you a force that can literally change the world. The question that remains is, what world will you choose to create? The alchemy is complete. The apprentice has become the master. The seeker has found the treasure. But like all true treasure, it only reveals its value when it is shared, when it is invested in the creation of something even greater. Your journey of personal transformation now becomes the fuel for your mission of global transformation. The man you were 32 days ago couldn't even fathom the man you've become, and the man you will be in the next 30 days, if you continue applying these principles with discipline and wisdom, will be equally unimaginable to who you are today. That's the power of conscious sexual transmutation. It doesn't just change who you are, it infinitely expands who you can become. The energy you've mastered is eternal, inexhaustible, ever-renewing. It's your perpetual source of creative power, your direct connection to the force that moves the cosmos. Honor it, respect it, utilize it consciously, and it will take you beyond limits you never thought possible. This is your legacy, your inheritance, your destiny manifested through conscious choice and unwavering discipline. The future awaits the creations that will spring from this transmuted energy. The world awaits the contributions only you can make. Your journey of inner mastery now becomes the foundation for a life of extraordinary achievements. The alchemy continues, forever refining, forever elevating, forever transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary through the power of focused conscious will.